Hello, Sula here from Misty, Hilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a 5x5 mini album layout that I titled Spring Feel, and I'm using an unnamed paper pad that I got a long time ago, and it's been on my stash for many years. So I decided to mirror the 2 pages, so it's a 2-page spread, and basically I'm going across the 2 pages, mirroring everything. So I'm using the same pattern papers in opposite ways. So there's this paper with the floral pattern, and I tried to look for patterns that were kind of contrasting and giving enough of a mixture. So one is a floral, one is a stripe, and then some dots. And all I need to do is now just start gluing them together. And I wanted to for them to be consecutive, so I realized I should better switch the at least the floral pattern there so that it is continuous. And so now I can glue the other parts down. This is actually really thin paper. So I had to also make sure that I would distress the edges. I do that by running a card around the edges of all the papers there, so because it just gives more contrast, especially with thin papers. If I have thicker cardstock type papers, I won't necessarily do that, but especially with the thin papers, I prefer distressing my edges. And then I have a bunch of photos that I printed for this page. Well, I do print on A4 size, so that fits a lot of photos on there, especially because I print such small ones. And I had created this page in Silhouette, even though these are not digital products, they're all just physical products, but I do feel more comfortable creating the page so that I know what it would look like generically. I don't add any of the embellishments in Silhouette. I just so for paper placement and to know how large I should cut apart the papers. I do have a hard time just starting out and just starting to cut papers when I have no clue what I'm doing. So it helps me a lot to plan out my pages in Silhouette Studio, even if I'm not using it for print. Obviously, it's ideal for printing digital products because I can just crop my papers to the shapes that are in the program, and then just arrange everything for printing. But it works just as nicely with just a physical products, because I can know how to what size to cut everything for my pages, and I will not waste any paper. I hate, and I think a lot of us scrapbookers don't like to waste our pretty papers, so I can just have a feel for that. And here is the word feel. This one I actually cut in Silhouette. One time I just cut a whole bunch of titles or words that will turn into titles for my pages, and now I can just come back to them and use them as I continue working on this page. This one says feel, and I intend for it to be spring feel, so I also stamped and fussy cut the word spring, and that goes on top of the title. And I decided to keep it white because the background is really kind of crazy with all the different patterns and stuff, so the rest of the page shouldn't be all that busy. Then I did create these little paper flowers. I used watercolor and some flower dyes with this, and there is a tutorial on how I create these flowers. They go very quickly. I'm not doing elaborate work with creating my paper flowers, but I think they make a really nice addition to my pages. And because I watercolor them, they get soft. The paper gets soft. And I use cardstock, normal cardstock, the same cardstock that I use for my albums. And because they get moistened from the watercolor, then I shape them while they're still not fully dried. And so once they dried back up, then the flowers are really sturdy in the new shape. And so even some pressure on the book wouldn't flatten them out anymore. So I really like what is happening there, and they make a very nice but quick addition to my pages, because I don't like to spend hours and hours creating embellishments for my pages. It's just too much work. Then I have this flower punch that has tiny flowers, and I like to add those as well, just like as if I'm scattering them across the page. And then because I was out on my bicycle that day, I decided to create this little embellishment like a label with a stamped bicycle there, so that because even I think one of the photos even has my bike on the photo. So that bike is there on purpose as an extra embellishment. And then I have this last cluster, and obviously I'm also adding some of my word strips here. These word strips are available as freebie on my blog mistyhilltops.com, as well as many other freebies there. If you're interested in getting some free products, you should check out mistyhilltops.com. And so I use these word strips as additional embellishments. These are spring themed. I have a bunch of other word strips that are have other themes, so it's worth checking it out. And again, here I have these little flowers, and I'm trying to get a clustered or a scattered feel for just like as if I had thrown them on the page. They're obviously I have to glue them down so that it's not really scattered naturally. So anyway, these are my 2 pages done. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.